The modern women tutorials. Fuck boys. Right? Something we see a lot and it's been going on for a long time, for over 30 years. Ladies always choosing the bad boys, the fuck boys, right? The players, right? The guys who just wants to hit it and quit it. The wrong guy. The regret. Whatever terms y'all ladies want to use. The toxic guy, blah, blah, blah. Well, one, y'all the ones who keep choosing them. So that's on y'all. You do understand that not every guy is a good guy. Not every guy is a great guy. There's good guys and bad guys, right? The thing is, you need to know the difference between a good guy and a bad guy. Newsflash, if you see a guy you immediately like him, I'll say there's a 9 out of 10 chance he's one of the bad boys, right? He's one of the wrong options. Because if there's a guy who's nice, he's like, hey, hi, how you doing? This, that, and third, right? And he's, you don't feel anything about him, but more likely he's a good guy, right? And that's the thing, y'all ladies make decisions based off of your feelings, so that's why you end up making bad decisions. So, ways to know if a guy's a fuckboy. One, if he's popular with the ladies, tends to be a red flag, right? A dead giveaway. If you see him constantly surrounded by ladies, you see him constantly approaching ladies, talking to one chick and then immediately talking to another chick, he's probably a fuckboy. The way he dressed. If he's dressed in a way, that, is definitely to draw attention. Like if he's dressed, like if he's wearing something casual, then like a t-shirt and some jeans or something, then he's dressed down. But if he's dressed up, yeah, he's trying to impress the ladies. So since he's trying to impress the ladies, more likely he's a fuckboy. Now, I'm not saying every guy who's dressed nice is a fuckboy, just saying that there's a high probability. So if you're impressed by what he's wearing, he's probably a fuckboy. If you're impressed by the fact that he's surrounded by females or he's talking to females, he's probably a fuckboy. And the list goes on. If he's attractive, he's probably a fuckboy, right? It just adds up. Because the thing is that you have to understand what makes a guy a fuckboy, right? Or it makes a guy, a player, or a guy who's just, out here with different chicks, is because of the fact that y'all are attracted, right? You're not the only chick that thinks he looks good in the way he dressed or the way he talks. There's just things about him that's drawing attention to him, which is what he wants. So, of course, since he is getting a lot of attention from females, he's going to have an inflated self, basically, an ego. So don't be surprised he's gonna have an ego, right? When he's getting a lot of female attention. So that's why it's not surprising is if he treats you like an object, because he has so many females throwing themselves at him. That's literally what y'all become. It's hard for him to see you as individuals when there's a whole bunch of y'all chasing after him. So y'all bring it upon yourselves when y'all doing that, when y'all giving him so much attention. If the guy already has a lot of attention, then there's a high probability that he's going to get addicted to it, and he's going to have a different mindset. And this applies to you ladies as well, because y'all become the same way. When y'all start getting a whole bunch of male attention, especially when you hit puberty and whatnot, your mind start changing. Then y'all start getting inflated egos and stuff like that, right? Narcissism, if you want to use that term. So it's on y'all to understand that it's like, if it happens to y'all, then it will happen to him, right? This is why it's not surprising you have a lot of ladies in their whole phase, because it's the female equivalent to the fuckboy. Y'all essentially fuck girls, right? Because you're getting a lot of attention, then you feel you have a lot of options, so you don't choose something. Because you have so many options, you're just going to be picky and just keep going around and trying everything, instead of just having standards, real standards, where the thing, you know what's funny about standards? The thing about standards is supposed to reduce the number, supposed to wither it down to the one, the one for you. It's not supposed to, you know, be like, well, only guys who are 6 feet, 6 figures, blah blah blah, should talk to me, and I'm only gonna date those guys. And it's like, yeah, but the thing is that you chase those types of guys, but those guys are not the type of guys that want to settle down anyway until they're like maybe in their 50s or 60s. But most of you ladies want guys around your age a lot of the time, and guys around your age ain't looking to settle down. So this is another indicator that he's a fuckboy, because he's still in his 20s, still in his 30s. He's still relatively young for a guy, right? Once he's in his 40s, well, that's his prime. Once he's in 50, that's when he'll be more interested in settling down. So unless you ladies are chasing guys in their 50s, this idea of like, oh, I'm gonna, there's gonna be this great guy, we're gonna live happily ever after. It's like, if he's in 50s, yeah, but if he's, if he's younger than that, the likelihood of he's, in his hope phase is highly likely, because right now life is good. He got his shit together. He got lots of money, right? He has a lot of females wanting him because of his, financial status, social status. He's an older man. Younger ladies tend to like older guys. So, of course, he's in his, whole phase, right? So you can't expect him to, want to settle down when he has a lot of options, right? But again, back to the guys in their 20s, for example, they're definitely going to be fuckboys. This is why a lot of the ladies tend to have a lot of issues in their 20s when they're dating, and then once they're in their 30s complaining about where all the good men at, where all the good men at. It's like, one, they were all older than you. Two, they're more likely in your friend zones, right? Three, they're definitely in your past. You passed right by them, literally in your past. Guys who were of good qualities that might have been close to your age or maybe a little bit older, but you passed by them. You're too busy focusing on the wrong guys, the guys who are clearly fuckboys, but y'all didn't realize that they were, even though it was obvious. Like, they weren't hiding that they were fuckboys. They were blatant that they were fuckboys. Y'all just ignore the obvious because y'all want what y'all want. So y'all convince yourselves that what y'all want, is a good-looking guy who's tall, who got money, blah, blah, blah. You convince yourself that that's what you truly want, but don't realize that that comes with him having options, him having inflated self, right? As in, he's not humble. Right? He's gonna be like, oh, I'm amazing, I'm the shit, I'm the bomb, hot boy summer, all that stuff, right? And y'all ladies be the same exact way. Y'all put on some makeup, you put on an outfit, and bang, suddenly you look like $1 million, so you start acting like it. But then you meet a guy in his 20s who probably got a couple mil in the bank. Well, what do you think he's gonna act like? He's not gonna act humble. He's not gonna act shy. He's not gonna act, like a decent human being. He's gonna act like a fuckboy. He's gonna act like a piece of shit. He's gonna act like he's a 10. He's gonna act like he's got gifts to women. The list goes on. So it's like, it should be a dead giveaway, but for some reason it ain't, right? Common sense isn't as common as it used to be. So this is why I'm letting y'all ladies know this. Like, I'm not saying you can't, want a guy who's attractive, who's tall, who's in shape, who got lots of money. What I'm saying is that don't be surprised if he turns out to be a fuckboy, because it's like, well, he literally had everything that let it be obvious that he was a fuckboy. All right. If he has multiple phones, that sometimes tends to be an indicator he's a fuckboy. Unless he's running multiple businesses. But even then, it's still too much to have multiple phones. But hey, whatever, right? That could be an indicator. He's a fuckboy. What else? the possibility that he tries to keep a lot of his activities a secret. Like he leaves and goes different places, but tries to not let you know where he's going. So he tries to keep you out of knowing where he's going. That sometimes tends to be, a red flag. There's some guys who legit have. There's some guys who are not fuckboys that do that as well. That don't want people knowing what they're doing for security reasons, but that's for a different conversation. Particularly, but typically, if a guy doesn't want you to know where he's going, it's there's a possibilities because there's gonna be ladies there, and he doesn't want you to, you know, make a big deal of the fact that he's going somewhere where there's going to be a lot of ladies, and he's probably going to interact with them, which is why he's not letting you know, because he doesn't want you to make it a big deal. So, precious. So, let's see, what else? Fuckboy. Certain haircuts are indicators that he's a fuckboy. Especially if he tries to look pretty instead of looking, like he took a shower, like he has good basic hygiene. If he looks extra, like if he tweaks his eyebrows or does some extra shit to his eyebrow. One thing I notice a lot of times, a lot of these guys who definitely are fuckboys, they tend to do that little cut thing in their eyebrows, but they do like a little cut thing, so it's like some of the hair is missing. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. It looked like somebody took a razor and just scraped off some of their eyebrows, so it looks like somebody cut their eyebrows with a razor. It's like, okay, that's a thing. So that's an indicator. I mean, if he's wearing like jewelry, it's like earrings and shit like that, it's like that's not very manly, right? If he's wearing lip gloss or something, it's like, why are you trying to make your lips look shiny? Like, okay, these are just some indicators of a guy who's a fuckboy. Because the thing is, he's trying to make himself prettier, right? Trying to be a pretty boy, which will obviously the idea is to get female attention. And obviously, if he's trying to get female attention, then he's trying to be a fuckboy. That's the thing. You want a guy who barely gets female attention. Or at least, let me rephrase it. A guy who doesn't put a lot of effort into getting female attention, because y'all ladies, nowadays definitely judge a guy based off of how he looks. So if a guy, looks very presentable, then clearly he's trying to get female attention. Just like y'all ladies talk about, oh, I wear what I wear for me, it's not for male attention. Well, that's a lie. So obviously that's the point I'm making when it comes to you can tell a fuckboy is a fuckboy, because a fuckboy will literally try to look presentable. He would get dolled up, if you want to use that term. He'll get dressed up. He'll put on his best. He'll do things for quote unquote himself. He doesn't do it for you ladies, but it's a lie. He is a lie. He's clearly doing it for y'all because he wants y'all. It's a hunting strategy. It's a mating strategy, whatever you want to call it. If a guy gets all dressed up and goes to the club, he's trying to get attention. He's trying to fuck. That's another thing. If you're at the club and you meet a guy, there's a 9 out of 10 chance that whatever guy you talk to is a fuckboy. Right? So that's another big indicator that you're, talking to a fuckboy. You shouldn't be finding guys in the club. Unless all you want to do is fuck, then yeah, go to the club. There's plenty of fuckboys there. You can fuck, and that's just be it. But if you're looking for a relationship, the club is not where you find it. It's very rare to find the right guy at a club, at a party, at any activity where there's alcohol. There's a higher probability for just hooking up, just sex. Trying to find a boyfriend or husband there in those type of settings doesn't really work. So that's another indicator that the guy you're dealing with is more likely a fuckboy. If he's on social media a lot, and not that he follows a lot of chicks, um, unless he's, you see that he's DMing them. That's a different story. But if he's if he has a large following and he has a lot of females hitting him up, that's a possibility of him being a fuckboy, because he has those options. He has those ladies attention. So since he's able to get female attention through Instagram, for example, or any other social media, there's a probability that because of all that attention, that he's going to exercise that. He's going to take advantage of it, and more likely he'll be a fuckboy. Another indicator he's a fuckboy, and I see this a lot, I don't know why chicks don't notice this, is when he talks about sex a lot. That's another red flag right there. That's another indicator that he's more likely a fuckboy, because sex is part of his vocabulary. Sex is his number one topic to talk about. That right there's a big indicator that he's a fuckboy. Right? A guy who's mature, a guy who respects the ladies he does go to bed with. He tries to keep that between him and them, not try to brag about it, advertise it, let the whole world know, who he is intimate with, right? Real men don't kiss and tell, right? Real gentlemen, don't kiss and tell. They don't go around, putting a female's business out there like that. Like, oh yeah, I hit that. Yeah, I hit that. Yeah, I had sex with her. Yeah, I had sex with her. Yeah, this, that. Like, no. Right? Already you have an issue with, in society, chicks who are open with the fact that, oh yeah, I have OnlyFans. Oh yeah, I do this. I do that. Oh yeah, look at me in a bikini and this, that, and third, right? That's already, an issue that most people have. Then you have a guy out here talking about, yeah, I had sex with this chick, I had sex with that chick. It's, it's the same thing, right? Putting her sexuality out there, right? Just like you wouldn't like a chick going around talking about you, saying that, you're not that good in bed, or you got a small penis, or things like that. You wouldn't like her talking about you in any type of negative or degrading type of way, right? What happens, behind closed doors should stay there, right? So fair is fair. So that's another indicator that, a guy is a fuckboy. Vocabulary, like what he says, verbiage. I mean, if he refers to chicks as, as bitches, don't want to say female specifically, but sometimes you hear that this female, that female. When I use the term female, I'm just referring to an immature woman. Because I'm not trying to say hoe, so I'm trying to be more polite and say female, because that's a generalization of somebody who's not mature, and I wouldn't consider a hoe mature, so so I say female, but I don't want to assume that every female, right, is a hoe. So that's why I don't say a hoe. That's why I say female. Makes it a little bit more general. It's more inclusive. There you go. It's more inclusive if I say female. But there's a difference between a woman and a female, right? So I want to make that big distinction. Women are mature. Females are immature. Hoes are immature females, obviously. So they fall under the immature female. Under the female category. So I don't want to disrespect women by combining them with immature females and with hoes. So that's why I have the two distinctions. Same goes for guys, right? A real man is not a fuckboy, right? A real man, ain't immature. He's mature. He knows better. He does better. He makes better decisions. He would at least ask for permission if he wants to have sex with another woman. And, if his woman says no, then he'll respect her saying no, right? He'll respect her decision. But he wouldn't, just flat out just be like, all right, I'm going to have sex and not tell my girlfriend. Like, no, that's immature. So there is a difference between a man and a male, just like there's a difference between a woman and a female. See, a woman wouldn't want to have a high body count. A female doesn't care because that's immaturity. This is why a lot of ladies, when they're in the 30s and 40s, right, start regretting their whole phase, start regretting their decisions, start regretting a lot of the guys they've been with. See, guys regret who they didn't fuck, but females always tend to regret who they did fuck. Because they realize, just like, yep, I made bad decisions. And the guys I fucked were those bad decisions. Right? So, that's, we're not the same. Men and women are not the same. We're different. So, you gotta understand that. And that will make your life a whole lot easier, especially when it comes to relationships, if you understand the differences. Like I said, a good guy ain't going to be a fuckboy. A good guy ain't going to be the guy that's out here. Ain't going to be out here talking about all the chicks he had sex with. He's not going to be out here wearing lip gloss or calling chicks bitches and hoes, but then trying to be like, he's a nice guy. It's like, but you refer to chicks as hoes, but you're a nice guy? Fuck out of here. You're a fuckboy. Or at least you're a douchebag, or you're confused, right? So hopefully this helps you ladies out, gave you some stuff. There's probably way more other indicators that a guy's a fuckboy. Oh yeah, well, here's one. If you got some male friends, especially if they're gay male friends, and they point out like, yeah, he looks like a fuckboy, you should listen to them, right? If another chick tells you, oh, he's a fuckboy, you should listen to them. Or at least take what they're saying into consideration. Don't be ignorant and be like, now you're just jealous. Don't tell me what to do, blah, 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 blah. You don't know him and all this nonsense. It's like, no. Take everything with a grain of salt, as they say, right? Be understanding that more likely if somebody's telling you something like that, like, oh, yeah, he is a fuckboy, it's because they're looking out for you. They're trying to help you out. So don't assume everybody's against you. That's very ignorant, especially if they're friends and family. But here's a little thing I was thinking about, like how to find out if a guy's a fuckboy or not, even though it should be kind of obvious. But if for some reason you're still not sure if the guy you're interested in is a fuckboy or not, what you can do, I was trying to come up with a method y'all ladies can use. Is like, oh, you can use one of your gay friends, right? Don't want to use one of your female friends. You can use one of your gay friends or a family member, like a brother or father or something like that, or a cousin, uncle. A male you can trust that won't lie to you about if a guy is a fuckboy or not, right? Because they have no interest in you. They have no interest in lying to you. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's why a gay friend would be useful, because he can talk to the guy for you, right? Can ask questions, obviously bring up the idea of sex in general. And, even ask some questions like, what do you believe? Do you believe in long-term relationships? Just hooking up, this, that, right? Ask those questions where more likely, if you ask that guy you like these questions directly, he's going to lie. He's going to try to tell you what you want to hear. But if you have a gay guy or somebody else, or some other guy, right, ask him these questions instead, or brings these up in a conversation, he's more likely going to be honest. Because he's not going to feel like, oh, I need to lie to this dude about, what I believe in when it comes to sex or relationships. He's more likely going to be honest. Guys tend to be honest with one another, typically. So this is a way you can find out if he's a fuckboy or not. Or at least this is how you can find out the truth, or find out any information you want to find out. I mean, ladies of the past used to do this. This was not surprising. I mean, the number of gay guys that walked up to me asking me questions. At first, I was a little off put, because it's like, I know you're gay, and you're asking me questions. But some of the questions were a little dead giveaway. There's like, okay, you're asking me questions for a female. These are questions that a female wants an answer to. Okay. So this tactic doesn't work too well on me, because I'm used to it. Not saying that I would lie or anything. Like, it's just that I'm used to it. So it's like, it's like, it's not, I'll be honest, but at the same time, it's like, I already know what this is for. I know who's more likely going to be receiving this information. So I wouldn't necessarily lie, but I won't tell everything. I keep secrets, that's what I'm saying. I won't tell lies. I'll be honest, but I'm not going to tell the whole truth, right? I'll keep stuff to myself. She wants to know the rest. She has to find out the hard way. But yeah, it's a tactic that you ladies can use. Try to get other people to get some information for you, so that way you can make some decisions. Some of you ladies already try to do something like that by going to this Instagram and socials. That's another thing, social stalking, whatever you want to call it. And you can just see how he is on the internet. If he has a habit of flirting with chicks on the internet, unless it's it's part of his persona or business or whatever. Let's say he's a relationship, whatever. The point is, I'm saying is like, if he's going around flirting with a whole bunch of chicks on the internet, there's a possibility he's a fuckboy. Not guaranteeing, but at least it gives you a way of indicating, a way of like, he is popular with the ladies, especially online. He might be a fuckboy, might be, right? And it's up to you to decide what you're gonna do with that information. I'm just saying, try to get the information and then make a educated, informed decision on who you will and will not interact with. Because from what I see on the internet, a lot of you ladies keep interacting with the wrong guys. So we can't blame the guys for that. That's y'all. Y'all the ones interacting with them. You should know better. And hopefully this video helped you know better. That's the end of the video.